the complex relationship between two music legends, Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, and the events that took place during their careers that impacted their personal lives is something many fans are curious about. Despite their intense competition, Old Blue Eyes condemned Elvis' music as phony, and reluctantly welcomed him as a guest while he was already involved with his then-fiancée. Yet why did Sinatra make attempts to rescue Elvis from harm's way in later years? If you want to know more about it, watch this video. From a rivalry fueled by public criticism to affairs and interventions, we have heard insights into the private lives of these iconic performers, and the ways in which they navigated their fame and relationships in the public eye. Millions of female fans adored Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, both of whom had numerous affairs while maintaining their respective marriages. But what happened when one of them had an affair with the other's girlfriend? On BBC Two, Old Blue Eyes is the subject of an entire evening focused on his career and television appearances. Despite achieving fame through his radio, record, movie, and Rat Pack endeavors, Sinatra was also a prominent television personality with his own light entertainment program in the late 1950s and early 1960s, during Elvis' peak as the world's biggest and hottest star. On May 12, 1960, the singer marked the King's March 5 return from military service with a special edition of The Frank Sinatra Show. Elvis' appearance on Sinatra's TV show marked a significant moment in his career, as it represented his acceptance into the mainstream. Wearing a formal black evening suit, he seemed to be stepping into Sinatra's world, and he even refrained from his signature moves, which had caused controversy in the past. Despite looking slightly uncomfortable in his tuxedo, Elvis presented an image of sophisticated style. His performance was more subdued, with only humorous shoulder movements, but this still drove female fans in the audience to wild screams. Amidst his hectic filming schedule for the new movie G.I. Blues, Elvis managed to make time for the special event. Despite their history and the ongoing affair, the two entertainers put on a friendly front, engaging in playful banter and even performing each other's songs in a medley. This was all in spite of the previous criticisms the host had made about his guest, as well as the behind-the-scenes drama that was unfolding. During the broadcast, Sinatra even attempted to dance with Elvis, despite his previous negative comments about rock and roll just 2 years earlier. At the time, he had criticized the genre, and he stated, "It fosters almost totally negative and destructive reactions in young people. It smells phony and false." Sinatra's newfound appreciation for rock and roll music was a strategic move that not only helped bridge the generation gap, but also led to a surge in ratings for his television show. By inviting Elvis to perform on his show, Sinatra provided an opportunity for the rising star to gain wider recognition and endorsement from the older generation. This ultimately paved the way for Elvis to become a regular performer in Sinatra's home base of Las Vegas, a significant milestone in his career. Elvis was secretly involved in a passionate romantic relationship with Juliet Prowse, despite leaving behind his future wife Priscilla in Germany and still being officially involved with actress Anita Wood in the United States. Prior to their affair, Prowse had been romantically linked to Sinatra ever since they met on the set of the musical Can-Can the previous year. Sinatra was so smitten with her that he invited her to perform on his national TV program as a backing singer, even singing directly to her on some occasions. However, in April 1960, Prowse began filming for G.I. Blues with Elvis, portraying the character of nightclub dancer Lily. As was often the case, the two soon began a romantic relationship while working together on set. Prowse stated, "Elvis and I had an affair. We had a sexual attraction like two healthy young people, but he was already a victim of his fans. We always met in his room and never went out." Remarkably, Prowse openly acknowledged at the time that Sinatra was aware of her affair with Elvis. Prowse stated, "Frank and I are mature people. We don't go for this teenage bit about going steady and all that jazz." Interestingly, Prowse's relationship with Sinatra grew even stronger after her involvement with Elvis. She would often accompany Sinatra on his engagements in Las Vegas, and he eventually proposed to her in 1962. However, the romance between Sinatra and Prowse fizzled out eventually, as Prowse reportedly wanted to focus on her career. Prowse stated, "I was as much flattered as I was in love. He was a complex person, and after a few drinks, he could be very difficult." Meanwhile, Sinatra's career began to overlap with Elvis Presley's in the late 1960s and early 1970s, as both of them headlined lucrative residencies in Las Vegas. Sinatra even made a desperate call to Elvis, urging him to change his life before it was too late, and shared his concerns with their mutual friend, Tom Jones. The trio had developed a friendship while headlining their individual shows in the Casino Haven. In later years, Chris Hitchens, a journalist, friend, and publicist of Tom Jones, disclosed a frank discussion where Sinatra admitted that he had attempted to rescue Elvis. Hitchens stated, "Tom Jones and I met up for a drink with him in New York, and he told us that he had just been on the phone to Elvis. Elvis was hospitalized in August 1975 due to liver problems that were worsened by his excessive drug consumption. Concerns about his health from his loved ones and acquaintances led to an unusual intervention by one of his fellow stars." Hitchens explained that Sinatra talked about Elvis to them, and that Sinatra stated, "When I called the hospital in Memphis, the girl on the switchboard asked, 'Who's calling?' And when I replied, 'Frank Sinatra,' I fully expected her to say, 'Oh yeah, and I'm the Queen of England,' or some such dumb line. But she must have recognized my voice, because, a few seconds later, Elvis came on the line. I told him he's got to look after himself and quit fooling around. He's too young to die, and I told him so." Unfortunately, 2 years later, on August 16, 1977, Elvis passed away. His cause of death was attributed to heart failure, which was made worse by his habits. He was a mere 42 years old at the time of his death, much too young. Despite the significant age gap of 20 years, Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley developed a strong friendship. When Presley passed away in 1977, Sinatra was deeply saddened and spoke highly of the man who was affectionately referred to as the King. Sinatra stated this about Elvis: "There have been many accolades uttered about Elvis' talent and performances through the years, all of which I agree with wholeheartedly." And he added, "I shall miss him dearly as a friend. He was a warm, considerate, and generous man." Why do you think Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra became close friends? We'd love to know comments and opinions. Comment your answers and opinions below in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to give us a like. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe for more content like this. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on